Hello, I'm the Toy Cat, and everybody knows the big, bad, scary new mob coming in Minecraft 1.18 is the Warden, and most people know that he spawns exclusively in the Deep Dark. However, this commenter raises a good question when they say, do you think they'll make the Deep Dark actually dark, not blindness or fog like Bedrock level fog, but the lighting actually being pitch black without light sources? And of course, this is impossible under the current lighting engine. However, King B Dogs, the developer behind the Warden, tweeted out saying today was a day of darkness. And then when Chris kind of wholesomely responds, why is that, Mr. B Dogs? Is everything okay? King B Dogs confirms it was not a depressive episode, but instead that everything was great for him, but he's not so sure about the future miners underground though. And this is a pretty fun hint that he's doing something to do with the Deep Dark or to do with the Warden, right? I mean, something bad's going to happen to them underground after this update that he's been working on. And so when he responds saying to calm people down a little, no, Deep Dark is not coming soon, nor snapshots since people are on vacation. But yes, I'm working on something to do with darkness. And this is a really interesting hint right here. I mean, again, something to do with not necessarily the Deep Dark coming soon or the Warden or anything, but instead something about darkness in Minecraft. We already saw that they're changing how lighting works to make it a lot more favorable. And so to make the Deep Dark scarier, maybe they're adding a new kind of darkness mechanic that can make certain places darker, because right now it's really hard to tell the difference between somewhere that just doesn't have light and somewhere deep in a cave where there's not just, you know, a lack of any nearby light, but instead there is literally zero. I mean, in real life, when there is zero light, you can't see anything, and obviously that's a bad Minecraft mechanic, but maybe it's something about your eyes adjusting that they might be able to work on, and, you know, to make sudden darkness a lot scarier, to make the Deep Dark, a biome that might appear all of a sudden when you're mining underground, a lot scarier. That's my fun idea at least, and it's obviously speculation. I'd love to hear your ideas, but what also you might want to talk about, because, you know, 1.18 snapshots aren't going to be officially starting, it sounds like, till the end of the summer when people get back from vacation, so you might be curious about Bedrock betas, the other way we see new Minecraft 1.18 features. And so Harry Stewart says, hasn't the experimental gameplay removed the point of Bedrock betas? And yeah, most of the exciting new features about Bedrock betas are in experimental gameplay to every platform right now, and so clearly Bedrock betas are done. However, this is in fact a temporary situation. I don't imagine they're going to be shifting fully behind experimental gameplay, although I think that's a really great idea because it would allow people on iOS and people on, you know, consoles to be able to play around with these experimental features. However, what they're actually going to be doing is working on new betas, as David Fries, the release manager for Minecraft, did confirm, because when Jay Wells says there's not going to be a beta this week, please keep sending us your bug reports, he responds saying, we'll be back next week, better than ever. And you know, this pun works when you say beta. It doesn't work if you use the British pronunciation of like better than ever, but you know, and my point here is that, did you know there is going to be a beta happening, you know, probably next week, and we're going to be seeing some form of 1.18 changes. I imagine if it's better than ever, it's something fun, but that could just be a pun. And speaking of things that have the same meaning and in the same words, did you know there are 3 people called David who work on Minecraft? There's David Nishagen, who is of course the lead of Minecraft Dungeons, if I'm not mistaken. There's David Fries, the release manager, and there's David, who is head of Realms. You know what? If you want to succeed at Minecraft, be called David. I'm obviously, this is a joke again. Like always, these are jokes. Don't take this too seriously. Just like how you shouldn't take this next question too seriously, because Q, where are you currently in the real world? I am currently right behind you, or actually, I mean, it's possible that I'm right behind you depending on where you are right now, but most likely where you're watching this from, I am relative to you in London, the United Kingdom. I did officially fly back last week. Today is day 8 of me being in the United Kingdom. Do you know how I keep track? It's because I'm trapped inside for 10 days to isolate because of weird government rules. But yeah, so I am back in the United Kingdom. I'm back in the new house. It's very exciting, honestly. But you know what else is exciting? This next question from Guck the Gamer. Will Bedrock and Java ever merge? And it's been stated many times that the end goal for Bedrock and Java is to be so functionally the same that you wouldn't care if they merged or not. Because every single, you know, like parity difference is one that they want to eventually work on. And this is obviously a great high-level goal. When you look at you know, when you take a Microsoft executive and you're like, hey, you sell 2 games called Minecraft, what's the plan for that? Obviously, their goal would be, yeah, we probably should just just have the one game called Minecraft, or at least try to have as much overlap as possible so we don't confuse people. However, when you dive into the specifics of how you would merge Bedrock and Java, when you dive into the specifics of even trying to get them to the same feature sets, it gets very confusing very fast, because obviously a lot of features in Minecraft Bedrock are there for the benefit of mobile players and console players, and so it doesn't necessarily make as much sense to switch that over. And when you think about a lot of the things on Java, they're there because you're playing on a PC where you can of course download files on the internet at a moment's notice, and most Java players wouldn't take advantage of the marketplace, as an example. And so yeah, things get very strange very quickly when you try to take very different games that have very different approaches towards things and try and merge them. So will they ever merge? I think it's one of those fun ideas that realistically no one has the will, the want, or even a great way how to do right now. Mr. Guck. And speaking of things that people don't have a great idea of how to do, Mr. Sandman says, why does the end portal room have iron bar windows? Was it once outside? And I don't know how I've never thought about this one before, but you're right. The end portal, as you can see right here, does have little iron bars on it. And I always assumed, because I'm a Bedrock player and Bedrock is very buggy, isn't that a widely known fact? But strongholds can actually spawn underwater on Bedrock. I think that might be intentional, actually. But because they spawn underwater, the iron bars allow you to see the ocean on the other side, or if there's a cave or something, you can see that too. But I realized they're not designed to be that way. They were designed on Java, where it would 99% of the time be stone behind there. So here is my theory. Just like how the bottom of the world has diamonds, because diamonds are formed by all those things being crushed on top of each other, maybe the stronghold was at one point on the surface. But if that's true, that means it was so long ago, because the abandoned mine shafts, which have been abandoned for a very long time, are higher than the strongholds on average. That means that this was so long ago that those mine shafts look, like they're recent by comparison. And so millions and millions and millions of years ago, the strongholds were built by an unknown race who clearly then went to the end. But then the portal behind them over those millions of years slowly degraded, and that's why you only find a few IFenders that are remaining in power. And that's why there's a tiny, tiny, tiny chance that over those millions of years, none of those IFenders degraded, and you can go straight into the end, and you can see what they've done to society. They've stripped it barren in this new world that they've created, and they've spawned a dragon that is apparently in control of everything, and that that's your real objective in Minecraft. It's crazy, right? But when you think about it, slaying a single pregnant mother might be the ambitions of a race of people who decide to make these weird strongholds or the rooms and stuff. And I'm just saying, I like the sci-fi angle of Minecraft. This comment reminded me of that, and it's also just a fun thing if Minecraft has a lot of lore if you're willing to go diving, and a lot of that's unintentional, but it doesn't make it not interesting, at least not to me. Just like how Toasty Puppy says, what do you think about goat horns temporarily stunning the warden and /or extending / holding note block notes? I know the crafting recipe would be very expensive, but it would be a cool feature, and I'm sure there'd be a way around the problem. So first of all, we'll address the whole the goat horn is going to have a use we don't know of yet, and can I just say it's really wild. This almost is going to seem like bragging. I'm sorry if it does. By the way, welcome to Q&A Saturday. This is the weekly series where I answer your questions. Did you know subscribing is the best way to avoid houseflies? Did you also know that if you go on the goat horn page on the Minecraft wiki, like I did recently, if you go into the usage page, it says it's been confirmed by Olraf on a Twitch livestream by IBX Toycat that expanded use is planned for the goat horn. So it's weird to see your name mentioned as an official reference on a Minecraft wiki page. It's even weirder that it's a Twitch livestream, because obviously I livestream on YouTube. I did 3 Twitch live streams, and it just so happens that the mention did come from one of those. But I'll be back to YouTube streaming soon, by the way, as soon as my internet is installed next Thursday. Very excited for that. Speaking of things I'm excited for, I want to talk about the actual question, because given that we know it's going to have a secret use, will that secret use likely be the really exciting, really special, having a note block in there or stunning the warden? I think the note block use is unlikely, but feel free to suggest it, of course. But the other idea here is stunning the warden with it, I think is the most likely use. Again, in my head, I know I'm probably wrong here, it's like a 50-60% chance this is what they go for, because the goat horn is, of course, a item that seems near useless besides being super loud. What mob is affected by being super loud? The warden. Have we had the developers previously say they wanted to have some kind of late game way to make the wardens easier to deal with? Yes, we have. So you take the goat horn, you enchant it, or maybe you have to find a particular enchanted book, and then it gives you the warden distracting or the warden going away enchantment, something like that. And that is it sounds like a crazy fan theory, just like, ooh, did you know that the shulker boxes are actually the remnants of a former race? But I think it is a really good idea, Just like, by the way, Cancerous Attitude saying, isn't Toycat going to be destroying one of these mountains? And I don't know if he meant these mountains right here, but I choose to mean he did, believe he did. So yeah, did you know the new mountains in 1.18? I made a brief comment a long time ago that like, yeah, I could destroy a new mountain. I'm obviously known for destroying things. That's what I do on those very YouTube live streams, by the way. Will I be destroying a mountain? You better believe I probably will be. It's going to be exciting. You know, I've been having a lot more pressure recently to drain an ocean again, and it's like, I want to drain an entire ocean. I really want to do it. Why do people keep tempting me? I know I'm going to want to do it, and then I'll be like 12 hours in, and I'll be like, oh, turns out it's longer to drain an ocean than we figured. But guess what? You know, it might be happening soon. Maybe when the internet gets connected next week. Speaking of things that happen next week, we have this question from Shadow Phoenix, because do you think the law of diminished returns will eventually affect Minecraft? I guess to make my segue work, maybe as soon as next week. But Mojang have done an amazing job adding content to the game to keep it interesting and engaging, but do you think the ideas for new content will eventually suffer in quantity or quality? So here is the thing, Shadow Phoenix. I think that the law of diminished returns already has some effects on Minecraft, and you can tell that because Minecraft in its early days was a person. Minecraft at its big wave of success was just a dozen people in an office. Now Minecraft is 500 people, something like that. But base game updates still happen at roughly the same pace, because now they have a dozen people working in PR. They have, 200 people working on support or whatever it is. They have 100 people working on marketplace and realms. I speak to a lot of people with a lot of very niche specific job titles that don't directly seem to benefit someone on the end, the thing, because of course there is so much, when you have such a big game and a big thing, you have to split up a lot of tasks that previously could be done by one person. And so that is my take on that. I think that things are getting harder and harder to develop because not only are they, they have to add more people and they're working with a game which has all the best easy ideas put in there already, but also they have to deal with the fact that they're working on features that are years and years and years old. So yeah, it's very interesting to try and improve Minecraft without breaking Minecraft in some big ways. But do I think they will run out of ideas? No, I don't think that's true, because as you might know, you might not know, there is a page on it's called feedback.minecraft.net, where you can put your own ideas up there, and they actually do not only let you vote on up people's ideas and then so they can see the most voted ones, but sometimes they put some of their best ideas under review. I always like to go through every year or two and go through those. Maybe it'd be fun to go through the last year or two soon, see the ideas that have been officially reviewed by Minecraft, because as we know, they do put out features that they've confirmed will never come, or that they intend never to revisit, basically, and they do say which ideas they're looking at right now for some future updates. So that might be fun. You know what else might be fun? If we dive into this last question from Dreon086. Wait, let's talk about fire alarms. How many does your new house have? And you wouldn't believe me if I said the number. Wait, actually. So here I am recording on my sad laptop. If you look in this very room that I'm recording, even though it's a bedroom, you'll notice that there is a fire alarm. And that's kind of normal, having a fire alarm in a bedroom, right? I mean, it kind of makes sense. But there's also a fire alarm in the hallway, as you can see by the suspicious green light. And then if we go over here, there's a fire alarm in here too. But that's normal enough. But if we go in here, you'll notice there's a fire alarm too. If we went up the stairs, you know what you'd notice up there? You'd notice there's a fire alarm too. If we go down the stairs, do you want to see down the stairs? You know, if you get the point, every single room in this house has a fire alarm. And I think that's very strange. And I hope you enjoyed your very impromptu house tour. Do you like what I've done to the place? I think I've done a pretty good job here. Anyway, I'm living in the corner of this room until I can get my actual stuff set up. So in case you're curious about what I used to record when I'm on the move, this is the exact same setup, just with my office chair that I used to use back when I was home. Life is fun, but you know what else is fun? Being subscribed to IBX Toycat. Did you know that greater than 99% of house fires happen to people who aren't subscribed to IBX Toycat? And if you're me and you can't subscribe to yourself, you need a fire alarm in every single room. You need 11 fire alarms? Do you know how much a fire alarm costs? I'll put that on screen because I don't know how much one costs either. But they're expensive, especially if you want the cool ones. And you know what? Everyone wants a cool fire alarm. So you know what? Instead of having an expensive alarm bill, not to mention the confused looks you'll get from the person who installs them, avoid all of that, unplug your fire alarm and its batteries right now, subscribe to the IDX Toy Cat channel, and you can rest safe tonight because either you're going to be protected from house fires, or at least you're gonna burn in your sleep. And I hear it's one of the more pleasant ways to go. Just like the pleasant way to end this video is saying thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I probably will see you next time. Goodbye.